What up, gang? Sane's back with a brand new episode. First off, have you followed Isuzu Rodeo on IG and Twitter? Well, don't fret, you still can. Follow us at IZZ Rodeo, no spaces. Today's episode is a crossover session that'll stream from both Isuzu Rodeo and the Raw Life Podcast. The Raw Life Podcast is hosted by today's guest, Paul Evans, out of the UK. You should check out his show for content and to be a guest. I really love how his questions make you open up and just pour yourself out. The session felt therapeutic. I had a fucking blast swapping stories that made us who we are today. Check out the conversation. And someone convinced this man not to engage with a fucking bear. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
How's things, man?
Can you say that again?
How are things?
Oh, things are well. Things are well. How's my sound quality? Is everything, clear enough for you?
Yeah, that's not a problem, mate. It's all good. What's your name, by the way, Satellite?
So my name is Darius. My
Okay.
stage name or alter ego is Sane or DSane8, and
Okay.
that's pretty much how that's what my name is when I'm basically doing a show. I mean, you can call me either or. I don't care.
Okay. You good with being called Darius?
Yeah, Darius is cool. I was gonna ask you
Yes.
if you were interested in this being a crossover episode. That way it aired on yours and it also aired on my what's the thing? Well, my podcast as well. And I had the idea because I thought it would be cool because it could link both our parties together to find each other.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. What I'll do is once this is over, I've got the files. I'll send them you across, whichever's easy, like through email or if they're big enough to send on Discord.
That sounds great. That sounds great. Have is this your second or third episode?
This is actually my fourth now.
Okay. How you been enjoying it?
um, It's weird. Like I've ordered a new mic, so I'm a bit excited for that. So at least I get better quality. But it's weird. It feels nice though, but it's just I'm slowly getting into it now. It's actually pretty fun.
What made you want to jump on?
I'd probably say what like creating a podcast.
Yeah. What made you want to create a podcast?
Um, I like talking to different people about their life experiences because I always think sometimes you think you're worse off and then you turn out you're not worse off, or you can always learn something new, or some people can have different insights than other people, and you can always learn something from it. Like, I never really learned much in school, so I always think it's nice just to learn from other people, and now we've got the technology to do it across the world, why not?
Right? That's exactly what brought me to it. I I just well, actually to start off, for
Yeah,
me, I was always into music
yeah,
and
yeah,
I just wanted to find something that I could do consistently and then hang out with friends too.
yeah,
So
yeah.
then we just had that idea and then we just started rolling with it and now just talking to people, learning new stuff. It's been fun. I don't know
It's
what it
really
is. It's just
cool.
the energy of doing that really feels good.
Yeah, it's like there's obviously like on mine I like to have like the good parts and the bad parts because that's what life is. It's all ups and downs, I believe. Like it can never always be all good or all bad. But
Yep.
it's just a nice positive thing to do, and I think if you can get your message out there, then that's another bonus. As long as you enjoy what you do.
Yeah, that's always the big part of, with all that. If you're not enjoying it, it's just kind of no reason to do it. However, because one of my friends, he he has
Yeah,
his own cast, and
yeah.
the first couple of episodes, he starts off and he's like, "Man, I really don't want to do this." But but he's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna do it anyway. And he kept at it, and now he's just, now he's enjoying it. So it's just, I think sometimes just getting up and doing it, that's the
Yeah.
other part, just doing it.
It's hard to do it. I like because sometimes I have to think of the idea, and I have stupid thoughts sometimes, like, is this gonna work? Is this a silly idea? And it's like, fuck it, I just want to do it.
Yup. And you just gotta sit back and just say fuck it. Cause
Yeah,
like what was it? This week I didn't go and get a guest because I was, well, for me, I'm kind of an ambivert. and sometimes I want to be all energetic and talking to people, and then
Yeah,
sometimes I just want to just, you know what, I'm okay with just being by myself. So I said,
yeah.
I kind of want to do a lone episode. Go ahead and get my monologue going.
That sounds good, mate. It must be hard doing a podcast like by yourself if you're talking to yourself. It must be
I
difficult, I imagine. Because I like to bounce back off like guests.
Yeah, it's that's one thing I noticed. Like when you have someone to talk to, you can just bounce back and forth off of it.
Yeah,
When you're doing a monologue, you either have it's I feel like when you're doing a monologue, you either it works best for if you're ranting,
yeah.
or if you set out some topics down that you want to talk about, or I know for me, what I was probably gonna do, I had some things I wanted to rant about, and yeah, I'm just gonna rant for a good 45 minutes long.
That sounds like a plan, man. That sounds like a plan. But yeah, man, like this. Oh, I was gonna say, if you got any like Discord tips or any other podcast tips, like I'll take anything, man.
So as far as Discord, one
Yeah,
of the things I urge, well, not even urge, just explore other Discords because that's
yeah,
how I learned to build our Discord, more because when you start off, you'll just have just a text thing and a voice thing. And
yeah,
that's cool if you want to keep it like that. But then
yeah,
say for instance you start getting more people in it and you want to have like the whole thing with the whole share your stuff thing. I picked
yeah,
up that one from one of my homies at the Rooster Bat show. I visited their Discord and they had this column called Share Your Shit. And I was like, you
yeah.
know what? Go ahead and do that. Like put it there because the way that we set it up at Izuzu is we wanted to have it where it's like, yeah, you got the podcast, but we want the focus to be the people in the community. And
Exactly. Yeah,
yeah, and that's why it's just like, well, cool. Then you can have it where you got all these different conversations that'll spawn off, and like now we have a music section, so people can just post random music, and then conversations start off of that. So it's just, I I think when it comes to Discord, think of it as a community first, other than anything else.
yeah. It's nice. Like, so I want to try and like build a community. Like I try and say to my guests, like the community is going to be trying building, but I need to add obviously like more channels. I need to get used to it more. Especially like obviously when you have more people, and I imagine you want to record like privately, and for people jumping in there can be a bit annoying.
Yeah, that's why you have different that you have channels where you can leave it to just you and you can have the ones where it does let people in. But yeah, I definitely because we have some channels like that you can keep hitting. Like and there's a way to make Craigbot hidden too. So
Oh,
it's like
really?
that
That's cool.
yeah. Cause like for me when I saw Craigbot initially, Craigbot it looks a little goofy and it's you kind of want to have it hidden sometimes. Oh, while it's on my mind,
Yeah.
there are templates for Discord. So you can look up templates, get them, and yeah, you can just look them up and see
Oh,
which one
damn.
fits.
Okay.
So you can just pop it in there and keep it going and edit it as you please. It really helps.
Oh, damn. Okay, I'll have to have a look at it, man. Cheers for that, Darius, man. That's wicked of you.
I
Right.
think it's cool that
Cons-
they have all that information out there, and uh, yeah, that's why I follow that on Reddit too, because you never know when you're gonna pick up some weird tidbit that you could put in to your
yeah.
stuff you're making.
Mate, Reddit's just amazing. Reddit's got crazy stuff on there sometimes.
Yeah, man,
There's some stuff like you just don't want to see, but you just have to go to it.
yep. It's like what shark octopus? Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
But yeah, so I'll start the show. I'll just like introduce myself, and I'll say like I'm joined by Darius. And after that, if you want to just give yourself a quick introduction, and then I'll ask you some questions. And obviously, if there's any that you don't want to answer, just say, "Hey, I don't feel comfortable answering that," and I'll just like cut it out or whatever.
Okay.
If that's all good to you.
Hey, this is perfect. That's pretty much how we run it over there when I do my cast.
Yeah,
It's I just say, hey man, we're here to talk about any and everything, and
exactly.
ta-da, that's what we do.
Exactly. No, it's just like I don't want to like when people on. I want people to know that it's a raw life podcast, but you can talk about anything you want. But I don't want to force you to answer something, especially if people are uncomfortable with that, because then it
Yeah.
just turns into bullying, and fucking bullying's horrible.
Yeah.
That's how you explain it. You may have explained it like a 7-year-old.
It's funny. There's a Reddit called "Explain to Me Like I'm Five." Yeah, it's great to see stuff through there.
I'll start it off. So, hello and welcome to the fourth episode of the Raw Life Podcast, the podcast where
What's
I talk
up?
to strangers about the life experiences. My name is Paul and I'm joined today by Darius.
It's nice to be here. I'm enjoying the conversation. You're a fun guy. I like the show already.
Okay, good. Right, I'll ask you some quick questions to start off with. So, how old are you, Darius?
I am. Oh God. Ah, I'm just. You know how you don't get asked that question, so you just kind of
And
gotta. Your whole
so,
life flashes but
yeah.
funny, and you go, I'm this. I'm 27. I'm 27.
Okay, that's good. No, I feel you because I'm the same. I'm 28, right? And I used to tell people for a few years there that I was 18, and I completely forgot one day. I was like, yo, what's my age? And I needed to text my brother to find out.
Well, it's funny because I had a birthday. I think it was in July. Wait, no, look at that. I think it was in July. My
Mhm.
birthday was in July. It was 29th. And prior to that, I thought I
Yeah.
was already 27 the whole year. And then I was reminded that I was 26. And it just, like, it felt good to turn 27 because I had thought I was already 27 for a whole year.
So
So
it's like you got a year back.
I need to do that more often, man.
Yeah, just forget all the days, forget all the birthdays, and you'll just be young forever. So, where are you from?
I am from Oak Cliff, Dallas, Texas, but
Okay.
precisely Oak Cliff. That is where I am from.
Okay. What's Oak Cliff like? Do you currently live there, or do you live somewhere else?
I don't. I currently live in Louisville, and it's so Oak Cliff is. I figure I want to paint an accurate picture, and I also
Yeah.
want to try to attempt to paint it as pretty as it possibly can be.
Okay.
Um, it's it's not a bad area. It's pretty cool. I mean, and that's for me. It's really nice as far as like just the area I lived in particular was called Woodtown. It was full of older people and
Yeah.
also it was a young crowd too. It's a suburb area. You got these oak trees there. And that's kind of why the name of the place was called that. Originally it was called Oak Cliff because there were oak trees and
Okay.
said okay, let's call it
Creative.
Oak Cliff. And it's kind of like it's weird because it's kind of I want to say it's just like a suburban area,
Yeah.
distinctive suburban area. That's pretty much what it is. But I'm trying to think if there's anything that's like that gives it this major big thing other than
Give
like
it-
the shops or something. Because there's like an area
Yeah.
where there's a lot of black shops over there where it's like a small market. So you get your like a haircut. There's like a
Okay.
place that was called WBS and they sold catfish and different sandwiches and it was pretty cool. They had this ice. It was this ice cup place like they
Yeah.
stole the snow cones or they had snow cones there and it was pretty cool. It's a cool area. It's a little suburban community. That's pretty much how I can explain it.
That sounds pretty nice, but yeah, especially about the snow cones. Like I've always seen them on telly. I don't think I've ever had a snow cone, but they always sound and look good. I imagine it's like
Snow
a
cones are great.
slush buffet. That's what I
They
think.
have they have because it's you just got first off, it's a simple concept. You got a bunch of shaved ice in a cup, and then you just put this different flavored syrup in it, and oh man. So
Yeah,
one of my favorite is that blue, it's a blue coconut and
blue
what else is in
coconut.
there? Yeah, it's
Damn.
so the syrup is blue and it'll taste like coconut, and then you can like a lot of people, I know I did it too. You would mix the flavors. There's like a sour apple that was green, and it's like you do that. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, man.
That's crazy. So obviously you said you moved from Oakland. So where is it you actually live then now? Sorry.
Oh, not Oakland, Oak Cliff,
Oh, Oak Cliff. Sorry, Oak Cliff. Oak Cliff. Ah,
because
okay.
Oakland's in California.
Hey, I'm British.
No, it's all good. I was explaining because I think somewhere in my bloodline, I believe my grandmother on my father's side was from California. Never met her, but I know she was from over there, and I think it was the Oakland area. But where I live now, I'm in what is this? It's South Louisville, The area it's pretty much just it's kind of the same thing, just
Okay.
more north. It's closer to Denton than it is closer to Dallas. So, because one thing I've noticed when it comes to visiting most cities,
Yeah.
when you're in America, if you're not going to a particular different region, something starts to get kind of duplicated. Uh, for instance, in Dallas, there's a mall called the Galleria. In Houston, there's a mall called the Galleria. There's a Martin Luther King Street. There's just things that get duplicated, and I started noticing that, and it kind of bothered me a little bit. But unless you
Yeah.
start jumping regions, like going to California is vastly different because you got a beach. A beach is a really big deal.
Yeah.
The people are different as well. If you go to I've never been to New York, but I've always wanted to do this. It's kind of like, are you familiar with the Star Wars series?
Right, you may hate me for this. A lot of people do. I've only seen one Star Wars, and it was the very last one in cinema, and I thought it was terrible.
No, no, no. No. I think the last one that just came out was complete trash. I
Yeah.
will say that and stand by, it, and everyone knows why it's trash. But
Yeah.
um, but are you saying that's the only one you've watched?
That is the only one I've ever watched. Like, to
Okay,
me,
so
the
you
concept of
need to
the
make the time. You need to make the time to watch them.
oh,
There's actually there's other show, this other guy, he's watching Star Trek on his show and he'll
yeah,
stream it. And I've always told him, "Hey, I would love to sit down and watch the Star Trek movies with you."
yeah.
So if we ever decide to do that, we'll stream Star Wars and we'll just watch Star Wars. We can even comment on it and make it a whole
Okay,
thing.
that'd be brilliant. Like a Star Wars stream for the first time. Or as I know is the
It's
music.
it's actually, as far as like what the story is, like it's
Yeah.
actually not bad, man. I really think it became one of those things, like if you were trying to recreate a new myth for the time, people kind
Yeah.
of look at Star Wars as if it's a new myth. So it's it's one of those things where if you can experience it, I don't think you should knock it. It's the same thing with Harry Potter. It's just really good stuff there. You shouldn't knock it. You should experience it and then see how you feel about it.
Okay, okay. Like literally, like, talking about Harry Potter, I watched a few of them and I didn't finish Harry Potter until maybe about 2 months ago. Like the last two, the Deathly Hallows Part One and Two. I just had a long. I don't know what it is. Like if it just doesn't interest me, like halfway through, it's like, meh, I'll get back to this. But the thing is, Harry Potter. Now I've watched it all. It's actually okay. It's pretty good.
Well, actually, now that since we're talking about that,
Yeah,
wow, you're from the UK,
yeah,
so I mean, I would think that Harry Potter is kind of
yeah.
hyped over there. I know that's
Right.
outside looking in.
It's yeah, like Harry Potter is always hyped. I really like. We have a Harry Potter like tour in London. I mean, I'd like to go to it, but I've never been because of like, well, Corona now and shit like that.
Yeah,
But I mean, maybe one day I can go, and you can dine in the hall as well, and like have a Christmas dinner. It sounds really
that's
really
cool.
cool. It sounds really really cool, but man, it's like 300, 400 pounds.
Wait, what is that in comparison to the dollar?
300, 400, so 400, maybe that's about $360.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, I'm not trying
Yeah.
to drop that kind of money just to go eat some.
Exactly. I mean, if I want a Christmas dinner, it'd be cool
I
having
can
a
watch the
Hogwarts.
movies for free.
Exactly, exactly. Right. Next question. What do you what do you do for a living?
So for a living, I do a numerous amount of things. There are the hobbies, which I consider the podcast, but
Hmm.
I'm doing that because it's really fun. I really like
Yeah,
it and it's consistent, and I'm
yeah,
learning. As
yeah,
far as what I do for a living, at foremost, my Peter Parker job, as I like to call it,
yeah.
is I am a land title examiner.
What
Basically,
is that?
yeah, it's a job where you basically in short, you do a bunch of research on people and land, and you do the history on it, so you can make sure the current people are the proper owners, they don't owe anything, or they don't have anything from past owners that could, I guess, jeopardize their title in that property. And that's what I do. So it's a combination of just research and of taking the current laws and making sure everything is done correctly. It's just, or like one example, someone was buying a house and they had a secret wife, and like I had to tell them like, hey, they can't go about this transaction because they're married. They're married to somebody. So that's the whole thing. Like there's things like that, or if people die and then you find out they have a lost child that they didn't tell anyone when they were trying to convey the property. It's stuff like that. That's what I do as
Yeah.
my Peter Parker job. It's not what I would love to just do every day, but it's interesting enough to keep you a distraction so you go like, I'm getting my responsibilities and I'm kind of enjoying it.
Okay,
And
okay.
what's that? And I'm good at it. So that's other reasons. Like I'm good at it. So if you're good at it, you might as well do it and get paid for it.
I,
Um
I was gonna say before we
the
even go in my house, I need to know more about this secret wife.
so
I just
like
need to know.
well, I'll give you as much vague detail as I can because it is one of
Yeah,
those things where it's legal. You don't want to go into details like that.
yeah.
But what I will say, there was just if I'm because it happens more than it doesn't happen. Yeah, it happens more than it doesn't happen. I do remember there was a story where there was a woman. They wanted to get a divorce, and I think the file canceled because that lady went back to it was Russia, I believe. She was from Russia. They didn't finalize the divorce, but the lady just, I guess, went back to her home country, and I just remember it was high dollar, and then next thing was they were really trying to work it out, but then they couldn't get in touch with the people. They had all left, so the file just canceled, and that that was the thing. You need both parties, or you need them to show some kind of documentation in writing what they're doing. But if they're not agreeing on that, you can't do anything with a file. It's a thing, man. It's crazy. It surprises me how many people think it's you can get away with things, but no. it's
That's that's crazy. I mean, I can't even imagine like being a person and thinking, right, okay, we're gonna get away with this. This is the perfect plan. They'll never find out.
well, and I'm not surprised. I'm pretty sure there's people
Yeah,
out there who they knew someone in the title business where it's like we're good friends. I need you to overlook this divorce that was not signed. You
yeah.
know. And it's just I'm not surprised, man. Whatever with everything, there's good and bad. So I know there's somebody out there that's probably out there just I'm trying to get things to fly under the radar. But other than that, what I do outside of that is I'm a composer and well, I'm a musician and I play piano while making beats and instrumentals. The what I normally do is just make instrumentals and then I'll put them out there and I'll just let people jam to them or I'll sell them and for other people to make music on. I did an intro for somebody's podcast
Nice.
and currently I'm working on a project that I want to release by the end of this year. I was looking at October, but there's just copyright things I'm also looking into to make sure I do everything correctly.
Yeah.
Um, my dream job, because what I do also for fun is I make comics or I make storylines with bad art, and
Ah,
I
that's cool.
bad art meaning I'm not good at drawing because I haven't practiced that skill. I got too much stuff to do. Um, but but I but my dream job is to be able to. I always imagine it like this: there are three desks, and I have a chair that I can go to each desk. On one side, I will be able to just draw an idea out and draw it all out, and then the middle desk will be where my piano and all my other instruments that I'll use to make the music will be there in the center, and on the right. That's where I will write the stories up and combine everything together so I can then just have the music, the art, and the comic all together. That's what I want. I want to be able to make the music that tells the story, tell the story, have the art for the story, and it all be packed into one. And that's my dream job I work towards. That's what I do. That's what I want.
I think that's absolutely banging. That's such a good goal to have. Like, you just got to grind to get there, though, man. That's the thing.
Yeah,
but just
you
keep
got to
on
stay up and
grinding.
do that work.
Yep, but mate, I know exactly how you feel. Like my dream job, I've managed to get. I think it was about 9 months ago, which is to be a 3D artist in the video game industry, and
Sweet.
I managed to get it, man. And like I spent years and years trying to get it, and I was gonna pull out all my hair, but I managed to get it. I managed to get it in the end, man. So I really hope you push for it and get your dream, man.
How is that? Because it's funny because that's actually the other field that I want my hands because I've always been a big fan of just making music that tells and captures adventures.
Yeah,
Kingdom Hearts
yeah,
really did that to me. And even before that, I always wanted to make music for games and film and stuff. And and I've been to the meetings. Actually, I picked up a program called Godot because it was free and open source. And
nice.
I started learning it, but I'm actually the way that I love to tell people, I started overwhelming myself with it because it's just there's so much. You when you're using FL Studio or any music DAW,
Yeah,
or if you're using Photoshop or any Adobe product, it's one like one dimension. This thing is one dimension. But
yeah.
when you hop into the Godot, when you hop into a game engine, you quickly learn that there's so many layers on top of layers, and you go, okay, just
It's
breathe,
yeah,
learn one part of it, and then keep stacking it as you go. It's
yeah,
it's a lot. It's a
exactly.
lot.
There's so many layers, but once you understand them layers, like I'm still a junior at the moment, so I've been practicing for a while. But once, because my aim is obviously to get better and maybe like become a lead or a senior. But you just gotta keep building them layers and finding out more and more, and making more mistakes to correct them, and that's what you've got to do, I believe. Make as many mistakes as possible, but make sure you don't mess up the game.
Oh no, you're gonna mess up the game. That's why you have testers.
But man, like keep striving towards that goal. I love the idea of the free desks as well. I mean, God help your electricity bill, but man, I hope you get it.
Actually, with this COVID area, it's kind of one of those things I just stopped thinking about it because yeah, when you have to like work from home and because that was one of those things, those conversations that the jobs weren't having. They weren't telling you, hey, we're gonna send you home, and and you're now gonna have to pay for the spike in your electricity bill. Because I got this plan set up where
Yeah.
my stuff is free after 8 o'clock. So if I'm at the house during the day, I now cost me more money.
It's crazy. Right, COVID's just making everyone's electric cost way, way more. Right,
So,
I'll ask you the next question. Oh, carry on. Sorry. What was you going to say?
because
Sorry,
I
man.
want to ask you, for me, I'm super interested in
Okay.
the game industry because, like, that's honestly, when you look at all of this stuff,
Yeah.
there's like, yes, there's film, but I don't know, some far-fetched ideal. I feel like the move to more gaming or VR because
Yeah.
gaming will basically be that you'll be creating these worlds for people to actually be within. Say for instance, you don't tell them they're playing a game, but it's VR. It still will be a game. They just won't know it because it'll be wrapped differently. But that's where I feel like the move will be. We're gonna probably ditch traditional television, and it's gonna be more VR stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't even know if there was a question anymore. If I was just starting to rant, I have
No, no,
just
no.
kept talking and forgot what the hell the
No,
question
no.
was.
I think that's good. Like good rants. Like the question was I asked you was like, "What do you do for a living?" And we just got onto this, and this was brilliant. But I like you like this. I really like your energy. But well,
it's
okay.
it's 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 something that I've like. You have to like what I've learned is just to just kind of chill
Yeah.
and just like right now I have one of these chairs like this it's like a beach chair. Well, it's
Oh,
a
nice.
lawn like if you're an old guy. If you're an old guy and you got one of those chairs that recline, that's like one of those it's like an expensive folding chair. So it costs you $80, but
Yeah.
it's not the cheap version so you can keep it for a long time. You can put a drink on the side of it and I'm sitting in that and I'm just chilling and I think that's the way you do these things, man. It just brings you home.
I like them. Like my dream is to get like well, one of my dreams is to get an ultimate granddad chair where like it pushes you forward, it'll tilt you back, it'll massage you, lift your feet up, like a
Yeah,
proper,
that sounds pretty
proper
dang good.
lazy one. Right, I'll ask you the question then. So these next two questions, I ask everybody that comes on here, and then the next, I'll just spin a wheel and we'll get a random question. So the
You have a
first
wheel
one,
to spin?
mate, I found a wheel today and I was so happy.
That's cool.
I just need to get all the sound effects in, that's all. So the question is, what's the best thing that's ever happened to you?
Whew, okay. Oh man. So there are many. I can't because when you say best, that's the thing. When you
Yeah.
say best,
Is there one thing that stands out? I imagine it's not going to
I
be The Secret Bride.
it's I teeter totter with it because there are two things that are majorly significant in my life that really helped shape the character that I've become today.
Okay.
And both of them are what I would consider the best because the first one the first one was when I started performing, when I started actually doing shows and just because back in was it 2012 I had my first music project that I released out to everyone. And prior to that, me and some friends had a rock band we were doing together. We would get together and jam out, and we had this talent show. The talent show
Yeah.
is famous in my mind because that's where I met one of my best friends to this day. That's where I
Nice.
met my brother. And to this day, like our connection just has been just like that is my brother. That is my
Yeah.
brother. And that talent show, it also showed me that hey, I can do this. I can perform. I can move more than 12 people. I can.
Yeah.
This was fun. I enjoyed this. I really enjoyed just making the music, but I also found out then that I really enjoy just performing and just interacting with people. It was just one of those things. It taught me that. It taught me that about myself. But even with that process, and it also made me arrogant. And me
Yeah.
learning that, or from now, that's why I say it's important. It's important because it also ties into what I do feel the biggest and well, it ties to what I feel is the biggest and most important thing. And what happened to me now, it's being knocked off that horse,
Yeah.
realizing and humbling yourself. That might be the one of the best things that has happened to me, but on a personal scale. Like that's what I feel, and that happened because um, I had some family members pass away all at one time, and I had these dreams that didn't work out. I had this performance. I went to a show and I wanted to perform there and I choked on stage.
Oh
And it's
no,
just
I'm sorry,
it
man.
was just a bunch of stuff that reminded me that hey, your head that you had that is really big, calm that down because the world's a bigger place with more spectrums, and that getting knocked off that high horse really helped me become who I am now and put me on this path of wanting to understand more about people, understand that every single soul on this earth is special. Everyone has their story. You can learn from them. It's just it put me on this path of knowing that being better is just that's what it is. That's what it's about. And yeah, man, that's what I feel is the best damn thing that's happened to me.
Nice. That sounds really good, mate. That does, like, I really like the amount of energy that and like the passion that you've actually got on you to play these music shows. And obviously, it's going to take a lot of skill to even learn an instrument. And if you've got a fear of this like stage fright, then mate, that's going to take a lot of bravery to me. But
It's
what did it actually feel like? Like the first time you ever done a show? Was it scary? Was it just you knew what you wanted to do? Was it exciting?
So the first time I did a show, the that so younger me, there was this energy that was just a bunch of confidence. Well, no,
Yeah.
there's a thin line between confidence and arrogance,
Yes,
and
yes.
pretty much I was just all in the red zone, and it was just like I might have told myself it was confidence, but the way it came out probably did not. But that's what fueled that energy because I knew how I wanted something done. There was a show we did, and I remember it was a talent show, and the scene was it was me. I believe there was three other gentlemen, or no, there was three other gentlemen at the show. There was a guy who played the piano. I remember we was performing and we had a song idea, and I walked by the music practice rooms at our school, and he was in there just practicing piano, and he was playing these tunes, and he had the ability to shift from one tune to the next tune. I think he was playing something like Tupac song that goes do 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 boom boom. I forgot what it's called,
Yeah.
but and there was a Little Wayne song, and basically what happened is we all had our verses, and there was a hook, and I told him that okay, what I want you to do is start off on this song, transition the beat to this next song, and it was just I was in control of it. I knew what was going on, and the fact that I felt all of that, it was the best show because I was in control of everything. I was like, "You're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing this," and I knew what I was doing, and it just felt good because I was in control of it, and that's what sparked that energy.
Yeah.
But when you go further, you also learn there are times you're not in control of things, and that's how you get those moments where you don't do well.
Where you need to like back off and say, "Whoa, I pushed a little bit too far here."
Well, and that's because if I took you to another show, the thing is I would use that confidence or that arrogance to propel me forward. There was a show I did at a school. I remember I graduated, and there was a pageant and a talent show that they would always have. And no, it wasn't a talent show. This one they just had acts that they would do. They would get acts throughout the school, and they would give them to come back and perform at this pageant. And there was at this time I had just released this project called The Foundation, and me and a gentleman, guitar player, he I had a song. We did the acoustic version of it, and I was a little bit nervous prior to because I knew my lines, I knew what I needed to do, but I was just those pre-stage jitters, those ones
Yeah.
where you're just about to just it just starts building up on you, and you just go, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about whenever you gotta
Yeah.
go talk to somebody.
Oh mate, yeah, it's so nerve-wracking. Like, not even on stage. Like, I hated performing on stage, especially when you was a kid and you had to do like the plays. So for one of mine, we had to sing the YMCA song. I don't know what it's called. It's like Yo Man, duh, 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 duh. I think it's actually just called Yo Man. And I was put on stage, this builder's hat, way too big for me, just dancing, and I'm like, man, I just look sad, and I just look sad.
You know what's funny? I I didn't have that problem because when I remember back in when I was a kid, I got put in a bunch of plays
Yeah,
because it was just those weird things. There was like those church things that like they force all the kids to be in the show. And at my school, there were Christmas plays that we would be in and Black History plays that we would be in. And
okay.
it was as I remember, yeah, I was in probably a good probably a good 10 plays when I was a kid. And I like
Damn.
the energy. I like
Mhm.
the energy. The only thing is one thing I've noticed
Mhm.
about me, I try to be lazy about learning certain things
Yeah,
because just like with music in general, I never learned how to read music, and that's one of those things that still to this day, like I read it slow because I'm a play by ear. That's what I do. Like if I hear a tune, I can get it back to you and just
yeah,
play it and craft it after I hear it. But as far as reading the notes, because what's that? There's this thing in Texas, or at least it used to be. It was at Sandy Lake, and they would have a competition each year, and you would have the songs that you could play, but then they would also give you some music that you had to read on site and play. And oh God, I was trash at reading on site, man.
Oh man, that sounds so difficult. That sounds really, really difficult. Well, like going because like it's interesting how obviously you like the performing side of it as well. Like from my point of view, I've never liked performing. Like in high school, we had drama classes, and obviously I was picked on quite a lot. And this one kid kept on picking on me, and to this day, I still hate him. I just wish I want to see him again, just to call him a twat. I absolutely hate this kid. he kept on picking on me, right? And every time when I had to go up in drama and like do like a sing or a dance, he'd just be there laughing at me. And he come up to me one day in drama, and I was like, "Don't laugh at me. I have kidney failure. I did not have kidney failure." But then he just looked at me and walked away. I mean, I shouldn't have said it, but I was a kid. I just wanted him to go away, and he never spoke to me again. So I don't know if it worked.
I love that scene. In my head, I'm just like, it's absurd. Man. It's just like,
Yeah.
don't laugh at me. I have kidney failure. Like, that's good stuff.
And I'm like, he never said anything to me again. Like, he never even bullied me. Never even looked at me. I don't think.
Dude, in my memories, I feel like if I would have said that, I would have probably got my ass beat worse.
that one didn't come off in a beating, so that one was okay. Yeah. The next question I have to you then, Darius. Right, what is the worst thing that's ever happened to you?
The worst moment that ever happened to me?
Yes. What is the worst moment that's ever happened to you?
Man, shoot. It's hard to answer that question because I look at all of it and I go, because there's this concept I have that even when something's negative,
You can
it's
still
only
learn.
there
Yeah.
to reinforce the positive. So it's all your perception. But if I could really think of the worst thing that's ever happened to me, let me see if I can get all my worst things and put them in a smoothie. Let me see.
I wonder what flavour it'd be.
It'll be a shitstorm. That's what it would be. Don't drink me or you'll die. But trying to think, man. God, this is hard because like there's so much, but I've tried to reframe everything in a
Yeah.
positive light.
It's interesting because when bad things happen, for me anyway, when bad things happen, I see them as different layers. Like that one wasn't bad as that. This was worse than that. But when someone asks you on the spot, like you sort of have to juggle it in your mind and get which you have to understand which positive message you got from each of them as well.
Yeah, and then you have to figure out would you consider would be the most negative thing, and because I always joke with people and say trauma builds character, or it messes it up,
Yeah,
or one of
yeah.
those things. Um, if I could, I'm trying to, because even with that, there was a story that I was telling someone. They helped me see the positive in it, but there was my mom had passed, and
I'm sorry to
um,
hear that, man.
yeah, it's one of those things that I've had to kind of, well, I never went to counseling or anything. I kind of did that thing where you use toxic masculinity to build yourself out of a hole, or not toxic masculinity. You just go really hard. I think I was
Yeah,
watching Game of Thrones at the beginning, and everything
yeah.
they teach you in Game of Thrones is when life is bad, you go to war. And it was just one of those things, and I just kind of tried to man through it. But
Yeah.
there's a scene that I that bothered me for a while because I had to make the decision on basically pulling the plug on my mom. And
Oh, satellite, you've cut out. Sorry. Hello.
yeah, can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, I can. Sorry, but sorry to interrupt you, mate. About that. It just went completely like blank. I just didn't hear anything.
That's one of the weird things I've discovered with Craig is because I've been trying to figure out ways around it, but
Yeah.
it'll drop out on people for some odd reason after a certain time period. And one of the fixes that I found is to disconnect from Wi-Fi either mid in the
Yeah.
thing or disconnect and reconnect. That seems to be the quickest fix. Or to
Ah.
not turn on Wi-Fi at all while you're doing it. But then you're relying on your provider's internet, if you know what I mean. And
Yeah. Yeah.
that's also one of those weird ones.
Hmm.
It's just one of those weird fishy things. And I always just joke about it on my show and go like, man, if someone gives us a lot of money so we can build a bigger studio, we can record these in person. And then if you have an ad, you can be like, hey, join our Patreon or some whatever. To hear
uh,
more uninterrupted content, join here.
where Discord won't mess things up at sensitive moments.
But where did I leave off? Where did I leave off?
um, you was telling me about that you had to deal with it obviously in like a masculine way, and like you said that you was gonna start a war.
Okay, dang.
Yeah.
It's crazy because it's hilarious to be on the back end of being in the middle of telling a whole story and
Mhm.
then cutting off because I'll have
Yeah.
guests on, they'll be in depth on a conversation.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, man.
But I'll take you back. Basically, the scene was I had to make the decision on pulling the plug on my mom, and her organs were failing. So it's like everything was there to let me know like this is the better option. You had to make a decision, or you were going to basically watch her struggle till something else occurred and whatnot. And that day that I did make that decision, I remember going because I stayed there for a while. It got dark, and I I I basically said I love you to her. And throughout this whole time period, she hadn't been coherent. She hadn't been waking up, and she would just talk. No, she wouldn't talk. She wouldn't talk. And at that moment, when I said that, she woke up, looked me in the eyes, and said, "I love you too." And it burned because it made me question every single thing up until that moment, because it made me say, well, all this time, and I make this decision, I make this decision to say, hey, no, I'm gonna pull the plug on you, and you wake up and do this last minute thing, and it's just it burned really bad, because it was just one of those things where I didn't know what to do. I knew that this was the better option. I knew that this was, but when you get hit with something like that last minute, you just kind of, it just but to so I had that conversation with someone else before, and they told me to basically, they helped me reshape my perception about it. They looked at it as, see it more as, that was the last time you got to see that person while they was coherent, and they were able to take in what you were telling them, and they were able, that was that last fleeting moment. And anything after that, you did get to share those moments with her, because you were able to do that. And that always, I guess that's kind of like what I think of as like the worst moment for me, because it's just, I don't know, being that control freak that I was, or just having those things of trying to figure things out and always being controlled, and just to realize you have no control. It's both the worst and most of the best moments at the same time. It's the same thing, because that helped humble me. That helped me be who I am today. So, yeah.
That like I, I can't even like picture that. Like I couldn't even. I don't know what I'd do in that situation that you've been in. I don't know if I actually had the strength to actually do that. Like, man, like I love my mum to bits, and I don't know if I could ever do anything like that. Like that's just, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. Like, I don't know how you had the strength to actually just do that. That's crazy.
You 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 get it. You get it. It seems like you get whatever you need when you need it.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how it was for me, because as I was going through all of that, my grandfather would be who I consider the like male figure in my life that I saw as like the strongest male that went through everything. And while all that's going on, my grandma had just recently passed as well, so he was dealing with that and arranging all of that. And so it was like, okay, well, while he's doing that, I got to deal with this. And it was no one else. So it's just like, since there was no one else, what am I gonna do? Cower and just run away? No,
Mm.
I can't do that. I've been brought up better. Well, I was brought up to, if you see a monster, you go and fight it.
Yeah.
And that's just what happened, man. That energy came, and you had to do what you had to do. And that's I guess why I was watching Game of Thrones at that time, and I thought I to just use that as you will be okay, when that's not exactly how that shit goes.
Yeah. You have so much like strength though, and to have like an actual mindset as well, like physically and mentally strong. It's just, I don't know what to say, to be honest, Darius, man. Like I couldn't even think about stuff like that with like my mum and dad. Like my mum and dad are like 60. Like that scares the shit out of me. That's insane. Right, I'll spin the wheel. Ask you the next question if you like.
Well, I am here to hear this will be spun because I think that's a cool and crazy concept.
I'll have to send you the link. I need to add the sound effects there. So right, the question that's come up. It's weird because it says we have a winner. I think it's like a name generator. So, have you ever had satisfying revenge on someone?
Ooh, this is not no little kid will, huh?
No. This is a full adult wheel. This is we going in. We're going deep.
Well, shit, I can tell you of a failed revenge story. Hold on,
Gotta,
I'm
gotta
trying to let me first see if I have a successful one because
Okay.
from life experiencing, I learned revenge is pointless and you should not do it. Also, from watching Leo DiCaprio's movie The Revenant, you learn that revenge is also kind of a waste of time unless you become it and you die. At the end of it, you get your revenge, you die.
Is that a good film? So I haven't saw that. I just know he's in it, Tom Hardy, and someone gets attacked by a bear.
It's a good film, man. I suggest it. It's a good Sunday film too. I suggest it.
Oh, okay. I like a Sunday film.
Let's see. Good revenge. Because I'm thinking about revenge. The first thing I want to think about is, like I'm thinking about this video game me and my brother would play, and it's called PlayStation All Stars, and I, it's like this is a very small, just
Revenge.
it's just like yeah, it's a small revenge, but it's the only successful revenge I can think of at the moment.
Yeah, but
He's
Darius, it's still a win if you think of it.
pretty much, pretty much. But there's on the game. He is an amazing player at this game. He is. I don't think there's anyone probably better than him. He could all the characters he's really good with, but there was this one particular character that I just hated so much. It
Yeah.
was it was called Toro. It was a little cat. It was a PlayStation 2's their mascot, and it's called Toro. It's a little cat, and he
Okay.
would play with this cat. And one of the moves that the cat does is the cat will fall asleep in the middle of the fight. And oh, to bring context, PlayStation All Star is a it's
It's
like
like
Smash Brothers.
yeah, Smash Brothers. Yeah.
It's this 4-player fighting game where you get your special and you annihilate people with your special. That's how you rank score.
Yeah.
Um, but in the game, this damn cat has this ability to make a little balloon fly up in the
Yeah.
sky and just sleep. He'll just sleep the whole match while everybody else is fighting, and it would just irk the hell out of me because then you would get close to him and then he would wake up and just punch you. And I'm saying this, but at this time my brother was that cat. My brother was that fucking cat, man. and 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 I would get over there and I would try to figure out ways to fight him to where because you can't sleep while everybody else is fighting. Like that was so annoying. And every time I would get over there, because it's like there's certain fighting styles in these fighting games. You could be one
Yeah.
of the characters that rages in and just unleashes combos, and that's what kind of character I was. Um, or you can be the character that sits and waits. So when they catch those frames and they see you slipping, then they can attack you in the middle of it. And that's what he would do. And I just spent hours and hours on hours playing against him, just trying to win against him. And it was one day, well, it was probably more than one day. I'm gonna say that because of my pride. But I got him. I got him.
You got
Every
him.
time I got him, that was a successful and sweet revenge.
Oh, I bet that felt nice, didn't you, when you got the initial blow? It was just like, take that.
And I know that story kind of sucks, but fuck it, that's my story of revenge, man.
Hey, it's a revenge story. I asked for one, and it worked. It's a little revenge. Little revenges are nice, but I am curious. Like, what was the failed revenge?
What was the final revenge?
What was the failed revenge attempt?
Oh, so the failed revenge. This
Yeah.
is the one where I learned that revenge is kind of pointless. I
Okay.
had a bad relationship in, and I knew that there was a mysterious culprit involved with it, and
Ah, yeah.
I got to a dark place, and all of my energy, because at this time I wasn't creating music, at this time I wasn't making art, I wasn't doing anything in those outlets. I just kind of let that overtake me, and I made all this energy just be directed to I'm going to know everything I want to know about you. You know, it just got dark. And I remember it's like because if you really put the time into it, you can use Facebook to find out where a person is and where they are.
Yeah.
And it got that bad. Like I was sitting there trying to figure it out and just like, okay, I know this, I know that. And I basically was like, okay, I'm gonna confront this person. They didn't talk to me. So I just was like, okay, I'm going to make sure that you know that I exist. And in my head, it was like I knew I was feeling horrible, and I just wanted this person to feel horrible. You know,
Yeah.
even if it resulted in me just waiting to get out a car and then just fight them right there in the middle of the street, or just something absurd and stupid. Because I
Just to
live
get
in
this
Texas.
aggression out. Yeah.
Yes. And the thing is, I live in Texas. If I do any of that, anyone can just, if you walk in someone's yard and you're unfriendly, you can probably get away with shooting them and killing them. And so I knew all of this and I let myself say, I don't care. I'm going to I'm going to do this. You know, that was the thing. I let myself and I let all myself be into that and give all this energy to that just to at the end. I remember the girl at the time. She said she told me this. She said her words exactly. You're putting all this energy to do this when think of what you could have created if you were like if instead of taking your energy to focus on something you were trying to destroy, think of what you would have done if you took that energy and put it towards something you wanted to create. And that's what helped sit me on my ass on that one and realize the pointlessness of revenge because you
Yeah.
just let it consume you. You throw
It
all
eats
these
it. Yeah.
things out the
Yeah.
window.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, I understand. Like, I was like with a few of like my high school bullies. Like, the revenge. I just want to meet one. I just want to just tell him to just to fuck himself. That's the thing. And like, it still sits in my head. And lots of people have said let it go, but I find it hard to actually let it go. That's the issue I have until like I get that nice satisfaction of yes, I've told you to fuck yourself.
It comes with it comes with well, it also comes with knowing your battles, seeing what actually matters, and I feel like as we grow, we understand that, man.
Yeah.
It's the determination about hey, is it just a game where you're trying to destroy a freaking cat that's sleeping, or if you're about to throw your whole life away because you want to be I don't know, you want to be stupid or you just want to you're thinking on emotion. That's the other thing. Yeah, you're just
Yeah.
thinking on pure emotion there.
Yeah, because it's just one emotion that's getting to you, and it's just this revenge and this anger and the passports, and you just think, man, I want to get them back. But that's actually quite insane and scary. What you said about well, everyone in Texas nearly obviously owns a gun, and if you go in someone's yard, you're gonna get shot. That
Well,
terrifies
hold on.
me.
Let me actually let me give it a little bit more context so it won't be that vague. It's the if anything. Just let you know, if you come to Texas and you walk on someone's yard, you're not going to get shot.
Okay. I just want to make sure that's not because
now,
America's
now,
scared. So.
Now, if it's late at night and you walk
Yeah.
in someone's yard and you happen to just want to go inside their house when you're not supposed to, then you're viable to get shot. That's what I mean. I think where I was coming from with that was like since this person knew that I had it out for them, they would
Yeah.
you could it's that whole thing of well, if this person is alive to tell the story and there's no witnesses, the winners tell they make history. So that's kind of it. But no,
Like
if you go to Texas, it's okay to walk on. Well, it's disrespectful probably to walk on someone's lawn like that. But you
yeah.
get me. You get me.
I get you. Because like it's obviously very ignorant to me, but I pictured America as like what you just said. Like you walk in someone's garden, he pulls out a gun and shoots you. That's what I just imagine America. This is
And
why I
I'm pretty
like
sure if
Britain.
you imagine it that way, somebody listening will be like, "Oh no, I'm not going to Texas ever."
Right, listen, my audience. Don't listen to me about Texas information. I'm from the UK. We don't have guns here. We just have knives.
Wait,
Yeah, so
All
we,
right,
we
so we need to like get rid of that. So when the aliens come, they don't come there first, so they can win.
exactly like we have like knife disposal bins where you can just chuck knives away if you're carrying them, and the police won't do anything about it. Just in case, like you have an idea of you're gonna go crazy. There's a bin I remember. What is the one in West Brom? It's like something like "Don't be silly, chuck your knife away." And I'm like, well, what's that slogan? What? Excuse me.
That's a that's it's hilarious. That's the thing. I mean, I mean, I think I would think a knife is cheaper than a gun, so I don't think you would have that. Hey, don't be silly. Chunk your gun away here. And just imagine it. Somebody throws it in there. It's not like it's not on safety. You just got somebody chucking the gun. Pow, and you're just like, no, no.
I don't know what. Just imagine like the cleaners coming saying, "Oh God, there's another hole in the bin." Right, the next question, right? Have you ever been in love?
um, yes, yes, I have. Yes, I have.
Mm, okay.
And well, no, no. So when it comes to being in love, you've been
Yeah.
in love of like what's that? Someone saying they said I forgot what it was. Like it's a weird thought process. Like you become in love more than once in your life,
Yeah.
and then there's also that thing of because it depends on your perception. Because I know some people have the idea of if you're ever in love once, or if it's the real one, you know, it's like that one time is that real love, and that's just that. I don't believe in that because it's just weird. You can't just. I don't think that it's just. It doesn't feel human to say that. If I think I guess to not beat around the bush. Yes, I've been in love multiple times.
Okay.
It's a thing. It's a human thing, and I think everyone finds it eventually. My my current love is well, I don't want to say my current. I hope that it's like the last, and I don't have to go look ever again.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean that's a job in itself. But
Oh no, you telling me.
it's like, hey man, if one day you want to extend your family tree, you look around, you're 60, and the only way you're getting that tree extended then is having a lot of money. But but yeah, man, I have, and I feel like a real good positive love is one that teaches you about yourself and
Yeah.
teaches you how to be better. That's that's what I'm learning, and if it's not doing that, I mean, yes, you can enjoy a toxic love and you can have a wonderful and painful and all of those memories together. But if your credo or if your actual desire in life is to be better, which it should be because the alternative is just kind of like why?
Yeah.
But point being, it's like that's what I feel like love's about. You becoming better, being better with another person, you guys deciding to fuse together or become higher than you were by yourselves. That's what I feel like what's love is about.
Yeah. No, no, I respect that. Like, l- I find it hard because, like, I don't know if I've ever, like, I've had past relationships, but I was never, like, in love with them. But it's, it's very strange. And I find it weird when obviously, like, you're in a relationship and they say, like, they love you, and it's like, oh, like, what do I do? Like, if I say, like, I don't love you back, like, there's going to be some arguments. There's going to be a lot of arguments here.
Well,
But
and that's the thing. Like, it comes with the territory. It's like you
yeah,
have to decide to be open with that person because the
exactly.
alternative is, oh, you said you love me and you didn't love me. Well, now I'm going to slash your tires. I am not chunking my freaking knife. I'm going to
Um,
slash you with it. You know.
yeah. Oh, that's the thing. Like, it's just bad. Like, I find relationships overall very, very scary. They're very scary. They're very time consuming, but they can be great and
Yes.
they can be bad.
That's everything on this planet, man. That's everything.
Yeah, it's it's just weird, but I do like the concept of love, like when people actually like find like proper love and that they're very very happy. But like, you can and especially what you said, where it helps a person to grow and it doesn't bring you down. Like that's something I'd like to have.
I wish that for everyone. I really do. And
Yeah,
I mean, because I was gonna say I also wish the bad for everyone, but
yeah, yeah.
because it's just I have this thing I always tell people. The thing that I'm really intrigued with nowadays is building my spectrum, filling out my spectrum, learning more, and trying to center myself to where I can be balanced amongst all these things. Because I feel like that some people should take up the time to do that. Because there's two concepts I had. There was like, are we balanced because we balance ourselves? Or are we balanced because there's so many people on the spectrum as a whole and they're all doing different things and that's how we're balanced? And I don't know, but I made the decision of I want to broaden my horizons. I want to fulfill my spectrum and become balanced. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. But if you can master them all, why not? But yeah, that's how I
Yeah.
kind of started to look at it.
I think that's a really good way to look at it. I like the idea that you've got this wide spectrum of things that you want to do and things that you want to experience. That's a really good view. We have similar views like that. Like I like the idea of trying to experience everything once. You know, maybe not everything, but like a lot of things.
Yeah, because there's that
Yeah.
golden, well, this should be the golden rule. Learn from others' experiences. Learn from
Yes.
others' experience. That's an important thing. Just saying, man, I would not want to be a member of, okay, this is kind of far-fetched. I wouldn't want to be at Hiroshima. I want to learn from that experience and not do it again, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I understand. I understand completely because you. This is what I mean. It's like the podcast. Like you, there's always stuff that you can learn about people. Like, and with the technology today, you can just do whatever you want. It's insane. Right. The next question I have for you then, right? What is the biggest misconception that people think about you?
I don't know that one. Yeah, I don't know that one because I don't know if there's any I would have to ask them actually. I would have to ask everyone around me, hey, what's the
Mm.
biggest misconception? I'll just ask them and I'll get back to you on that one. How about that?
Yeah, yeah, okay, okay. You can get back to me on that one. I think for me, it's like a lot of people always like assumed, oh, you like anime, and I was like, no, I don't really like it. And this has been going on for years and years, and like it got to the point where last month there's actually one that you know what, it's actually pretty good, but that was sort of wrong, but sort of right.
Which one was it?
I've been watching Seven Deadly Sins.
That's on my. I started that one, and it's on
Yeah,
my list to finish it. I just started Demon Slayer a couple days ago, and I've been having a good time watching it. I really enjoy anime because the same way you can get those great feels and great stories and concepts elsewhere in other
yeah,
from other mediums. Boy, I
yeah.
tell you, I watch Naruto on Sundays because it should be a religion. But
I don't think I've ever watched Naruto. Like my friend tried to show me One Punch Man, and I fell asleep. He was like, you'll love this. You absolutely love this. And I watched it. I was like, mate, I just fell asleep. It's the same when he tried to show me the Matrix. I just fell asleep to the Matrix. But
Oh,
he lied
oh,
to me. He lied to me. My friend did. He told me that the Matrix was like John Wick, and it was nothing like John Wick. Nothing at all.
oh God, no, no, no. Oh, but speaking of that,
Yeah.
supposedly John Wick #4 and the Matrix 4 comes out on the same day, and there was always these teasing and this joke that they're linked and they're the same movie. And
Oh.
if that's the case, I I think that changes everything. And I don't know. I really hope that's the case so the world can be a better place. That's what would happen. No, I'm
I think that's the best thing, right? To get from this podcast, we understand that the Matrix and John Wick have to combine for the world to be a better place.
See,
I
that's
love
the
it.
cure, man. That
I
is
love
the
it.
cure.
I love it. Okay, you know what? Maybe not the Matrix, but definitely John Wick. John Wick's
Oh,
just
see,
better.
and that's the reason because it combines all of us.
Yeah.
It combines all the people that's like John Wick's the way, and the people that say the Matrix is the way. It brings us all together. That's what it is. That
No,
is
but
what it is.
okay. You know what? I'll let you have that one. I'll let you have that one. You win on
We're
that. You
stronger
win on that.
together than we are this the or what was the word? We're stronger together than we are divided. Because a lot of this in the climate, it just seems that we're all just pushing each other apart. We're always trying to
Yeah.
figure out how things are separate and different, and not continue the conversation to try to figure things out together. Well, what
Yeah.
was it? I was listening to some lady on a TED talk one time, and she
Mm.
said, um, when you hear people just arguing back and forth and they just shut off and they never find a solution. Well, if they never found a solution, it's probably because they stopped listening to each other and they just decide, they stopped listening to each other. And
Yeah.
I think that's what the TED Talk was about. It was about how to listen to others, how to
Yes.
actually talk to others.
Yeah.
And and I think that should be one of those fundamentals that they teach in schools because we don't do that no more. We don't do that anymore. All we do is, oh, you like the color red? I like the color green. And if you come over in my little lawn in Texas,
You get shot. You get shot. You hear that, folks?
well, you better chug your knife.
No, I think that's actually a really good statement. Like a lot of things are divided. It's never like, oh, okay, let's work together on this. So that's actually a really interesting way of thinking of the Matrix and John Wick. Maybe I can learn to like it. Maybe I can learn to get along with the Matrix fans.
Well, what I will say, because honestly, I don't think anyone should just be forcing themselves out there to try to like any and everything. I
Yeah,
do I do think that it's okay to experience some things, and it's okay to just say, yeah, it's okay to say no to some things, and know that the story doesn't stop there. If someone doesn't like something, it's okay. I had to learn that because I was trying to force anime, and the thing is, you some people just don't like it, man. It's just the thing. Some people don't like it, and you just got to sit back and chill. That's
yeah.
the
No,
important part.
I get you
Adventure Times
completely.
has this line. They say, "People get built differently. Respect it." There you go.
That's actually really good. Like that's an Adventure Time.
Yeah.
Damn,
Adventure
man.
Time gets knocked. Like a lot of parents say, "No, my child won't watch this show because you have to be a stoner to watch this." And I mean, yeah, but again, like everything, there is some good and bad in everything, except Annoying Orange. Fuck that show. It needs to burn. But anyway,
Okay, you know what's strange? The Annoying Orange, I checked that like 2 or 3 days ago. You know it's got like 10 million subscribers and they still upload.
because it's kids, bro. Kids are idiots. No,
Honestly, I honestly thought the Annoying Orange died years ago, and the only thing I know from it is Hey Apple. That's it. I don't know anything else. But how has it got like 10 million? It's ridiculous. Why are people still watching it?
Oh man, this just gave me a great idea. I don't know if this is out there, but we should just change it. We should just take kids and idiots and just morph them together and just call them kidiots. Oh, that's perfect.
Okay, that's the next. That's what we're gonna do next. Then we'll forget the Star Wars thing. We'll just do Kidiots.
The kidiots. I like it. I like it.
Perfect. Right. So, Derek, actually, this podcast lasts a bit longer, so I might try and do it in like two separate parts, like a part one and part two, because this has gone
Um,
like banging.
well, I was gonna honestly, because I don't know, I haven't sent you any links for the show that I do. I guess I'll explain it here so that way that it could yeah, so you'll know about it, and I'll send you a couple links. Well,
Yeah, yeah.
well, first and foremost, I am Darius, Darius Taylor to be exact. My ego or alter ego or the person that I am online is mostly I am Sane. My name is Sane, and as an artist, my name is Dsane8, which is D-SANE8, which is it's crazy because that's a whole story. But hey, we can talk about that another time because I really enjoyed this, and I would love to do another one, or choose. I'll invite you on as a guest on my show. That sounds great too. Um, but my show, what it is, it's called Isuzu Rodeo. It's a community where people hang out. Yeah, you've seen that from just being in a Discord. We'll hang out and
Yeah.
we'll play games together, and we'll talk about any and everything. And we try to uplift everyone positive. And within that, there's also on the flip side the podcast, or what I like to call it, the stream. We have 4 different shows on there. We have the Zuzu Rodeo Squadcast. That's when me and the gang get together and talk about topics on society and culture.
Yeah.
The other side is, um, let's see, there's a guy named Green, Dr. Green. He has a show called The Green Room. He'll rant about different things that are happening. There's a show called Liquid Tangents, where to me, I feel like that's like Space Ghost Coast to Coast, the next version, because he just rants and rambles and throws random sound effects and craps with his guest. And for me, I have my show called Dsane8's Oak Cliff Beach. And that's where I just talk to any and everyone, catch up with friends, hang out with family. I really enjoy talking to artists about their stuff and just any and everything. And I just hang out with people and I'll talk to them for an hour to 2 hours. And it's fun. It helps me grow. It helps them grow. We learn together. We meet more people and we do that thing that I feel is hard. We have conversations. That's what we do. And yeah, man, that's what I do. That's what I'm here for. Ta-da! I started falling and derailing, so I'll just do a little dance and call it that.
That's wicked. Like I've still got like a few more questions to ask you if that's cool, man. But like what I'm gonna do is I'll
Oh, I
send
see. I thought you were about to sign off. That's what I thought you were getting at. My
no.
bad. I jumped the gun.
It's fine. Listen, I can put that in now, man. So that's not a problem. So at least you've done your plugin.
I thought you were trying to tell me to leave. Damn.
Oh no, I've got like a few more questions. What I'm saying is like because this has been like really like personally, I think this is the best interview like I've ever had. Because there's a lot of back and forth. It's just nice. So I might just split it in like 2 parts, or like a part 1, part 2.
Hey,
I think.
you know me. I'm chilling. I am in my
Yeah.
old man chair chilling.
Wicked. That sounds like a plan. Then. Right. Next question then. What is your biggest fear?
Woo! Okay, so as I grow older, I discover there are things I am afraid of. And first and foremost, bears are scary as shit. I don't ever want to see a bear in my life. I am I am not as healthy and fit as I used to be, so that means I will not be able to outrun a bear. I cannot climb a tree. I want to learn, so just in case I can, but then you do all that just to find out that bears can climb the tree. And you know the worst part about a fucking bear? You know the worst part about a bear? They will stand on your head. They will literally stand there, look at you while you are alive, and just start eating. They will start eating. So yeah,
Oh my
my
god, this is
biggest
better.
fear, my biggest fear right now is probably a
Bears.
bear.
Oh my god, that's. Have you ever actually seen a bear in real life then? Like an encounter?
How dare you ask that question? Like fuck yeah.
So that's
I don't plan
interesting.
on it. I don't plan on it. I don't want to see a bear because that's just wrong. Like that's evil.
If I ever come over there, I'm bringing a bear somehow.
Man,
I'll find a
and this is
way.
this is why you don't tell people this shit.
I find it interesting is actually different people's fears and why they're scared of them. So one of mine is spiders. But considering you mentioned bears, one of the things that I actually want to do is go to Canada, and there's a forest where you can walk around where there's bears, and you can just walk through a forest. It
Yeah,
just
you have
I just
fun with
want
that,
to
man.
do it.
It
But
was I
spiders,
forgot
no.
what gentleman brought it up. No, it was Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan
Yeah,
brought up the whole idea and concept of bears. They are not friendly like we make them out to be.
yeah,
They see you, they're thinking about their next meal. So they won't stop until no, man, no. You have to, and that means you have to now come up with a way to scare them so they won't mess with you.
It's
And
just, yeah,
it's just
nothing.
no, and they're huge. Like,
They're so
do I
big.
need
They're
to go
so big.
send you videos and footage of why you should be afraid of it? Like okay, here's the thing. It's not an emotional scary. Like most people are emotionally scared about things. This is a logical fear, man.
Yeah, yeah. I imagine it as just like Winnie the Pooh.
Oh yeah, you have fun with that. The bear will call you honey. It ain't gonna be the way.
The thing is that like bears, I don't know if I'd be scared of them until I saw one. That's the thing. Whereas spiders, like, mate, there was a massive one in my room. I couldn't even get it. I had to get my friend to get it. So I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't sleep in the same room. Terrified me. But a bear, like, I can't wait to see a bear.
I mean,
I think
I'll watch a bear from a glass window, maybe.
maybe just the maybe.
I'll do like, cause like if I know that there's no possible way. Well, actually, because that changes things too. Because I was thinking, what happens if a bear gets loose in a zoo? So the thing
Oh
with that
damn.
is, if it did that, you would be okay unless you're the person that gets stuck right there when the bear leaves. Because the bear is not gonna just leave what he's messing with alone. He's probably gonna
Yeah.
try to grab something, go to a place, devour it, then look around. Well, because then they have the thing where they eat and then they go to sleep. So it's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. But the point I'm getting at, you have fun with your bear. I will be here when you tell me a story about how it was all fun and games until I had to fucking run. No,
And then I pulled out my knife from the bin that I chucked away earlier. And what is the funniest drunk story you have?
ooh, dang, that is. Let me see. Let me
Well, what you
see.
can remember.
Well, and so I'm trying to find a funny one and not a sad one.
Oh no.
Well, when I say that, it's because there's moments that is like, if not
So,
sad, embarrassing. But
yeah. Oh, okay.
um,
Well, we could switch the question to that. What's the most embarrassing story you've had?
oh, let's see. I'm sure it was more than one. Um, trying to think. Trying to think. That was one of the fun. I had a memory from when we lived in Denton, Texas. I remember me and the guys who would hang out, and we would have these things where we call reflection time. We would all be together, and we would just hang out, and maybe you drank with it, maybe you did marijuana with it.
Yeah.
Um, but there was one night in particular, I remember we all got tipsy, and it ended with, we were out in the parking lot, and we were just like running around. We were like, "Bro, I love you, bro." It was just this weird, it helped us realize, and like, that we, like, you had this high respect for each other.
Yeah.
And men always try to do that thing where they're like, "I'm tough. I'm not gonna show anyone that I'm feeling any type of way about anyone." And this moment, it was really cool because we expressed, it's like, "Yeah, man, you're my brother. I love you." It was a fun moment because we got to hang out and we got to express that, and it was cool. Now, as far as embarrassing,
But what are you
trying to
thinking, like,
ramble.
with that moment where you obviously express your feelings to your friends? I always think that's positive. It's such a good thing to do, even when you're like a little bit tipsy, and it's like, yo, oh, I fucking love you guys, man. And they're like,
Well,
yeah, let's have another drink.
actually, it's funny because one of the embarrassing moments probably for me would be expressing, still expressing myself. I have a friend, a real good close friend of mine as well, and he was one of the guys in the band with me when we did our band, and we
Yeah.
would always have those moments because no, time is weird. Time is weird. You have friends you're close with, you guys don't talk as much, and like for me, I was sitting at a bar and I'm up here drinking. And first off, normally this is the type of message you would send a woman. And
Oh
instead, I
yeah.
sent it to a friend. I said, "Hey, how come I'm always the one texting you first?" And if like when I got unsober from it, I looked at it back and I was like, oh my God, I sound like an overattached girlfriend. But yeah, I would say that was probably one of my probably. I mean, it's an embarrassing moment because I'm really trying to gather like one of my
Yeah.
most embarrassing.
Well,
Try-
while you're thinking of yours, I can tell you one of mine if you like.
Feel free to
So
share.
mine was in school, and we had to do trampolining, and they put the trampolines in these massive halls, absolutely massive, and they'd have people around the outside just in case, obviously, you fall off. So the teacher shouted my name, and I got on the trampoline, and I look around, and the trampoline is surrounded by nearly everybody who bullies me in the school, except for two people, right? And these are all looking at me, and I'm there just bouncing away. And I bounce, I hit the net, and I let out a fart. But this fart was no ordinary fart. It echoed in the hall because of the sound. And I just sat there, hands over my head on this trampoline, everybody there laughing at me. Even it, even the teacher was laughing at me, man. And I was like, oh no, this is just the worst. And I get off the trampoline like sad as fuck. And some kid goes, I don't know, he just farted. And I'm there like thinking, what is happening with life? And to see all these kids that I already hated have more ammo, it was like, this is horrible. This is absolutely horrible. And I went round school, and then that kids would be pointing at me like, that's the kid that farted on the trampoline. And it got to a breaking point where some kid came up to me in DT and said the exact same thing. He's like, you farted. I was like, yes, I fucking farted on the trampoline. Just fuck off.
You know what's hilarious is I don't I don't see like as you get older, um as you get older, as you get older, the it's like that thing you get older and you don't laugh at farts anymore. It's
Yeah,
funny. It's
yeah.
funny because like me and the guys, like if you're just hanging out and then somebody rips one, you still laugh, and it's like there's something about that I want to hold on to that because I watch older people. It's like they'll just be like, man, I don't nobody laughs at farts, and they'll just do it right then and there, act like it didn't happen, and I'm just like, how? Wait, that's a thing, man. No.
Look, even when I visit my family back home, my dad will always he'll just sit there and he'll start laughing. I'll be like, "Yo, I know what you're laughing at," and he'll just start cackling, and he'd be like, "Don't stop it, poor," and then he just farts, and my mum was like, "Who's that stinky bastard?" And it just breaks him. Like he finds farts the funniest thing in the whole world, and he absolutely loves them.
Because it's something it's crazy because it's an art form. No, but it's something you can't control, and I think that's the beauty of it. It's like, yo, regardless, man, if you got a fart, it's gonna happen, and it's not like you. It's just like one of those things where you're like, hey, well, okay, because scientifically, if you really want to be able to fart, you just go eat the proper things to make you very gaseous, so you can go and fart on command. But point being, it's not something that you normally can't control. It just happens. You're if you're on a date, you're looking with somebody, and you're like, oh, oh shit, what is that? Oh, um, and you got to tell her she was beautiful. Now she's like, oh, good God, no, no.
The worst is when you try and hold it in for that long. It's just man, your stomach just starts to go. Right? Have you thought of the embarrassing story? Have you had enough time to think?
No, I was too busy having a good time. Hold on. Um, I'm pretty sure it's out there. An embarrassing moment, and is it still just an embarrassing moment, or is it an embarrassing drunk moment?
It can be embarrassing or drunk, whichever you like.
Okay. Embarrassing moment. Come on, I got this. Let's
You
see.
got this. You
Let's
got
see.
this, Darius. Focus.
I'm trying to remember. I mean, there's so many embarrassing moments. I mean, I could go about how that time I was on stage and I was performing and um, I had all my lines together. I remembered
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
and just something in the middle of it, I just stopped mid song, and are you familiar with That's So Raven?
Yes, that's so Raven.
Yeah, and she has that thing she does where she's like, I had a
Yeah,
vision.
yeah.
Well, I did that in the middle of my song. No, yeah, in the middle of the song, I just stopped and yeah, it was just my name is, oh God, there's a lot of people here, and then I was just done. The guy I was performing with was trying his darndest to save me, and it was just I couldn't be brought back from that one, man. I felt so bad. I was just like, oh
Oh,
God, let me get off the stage. I don't like this. I don't like this. And it was just terrible. It was terrible,
um,
man. And I was in a
what
big ass jacket.
what was the crowd like? Did they boo you or anything when you had to leave the stage?
So they didn't boo me or anything, but it was quickly known that they was just like, mm. Because the it's like the you for me, I looked at it like this. It's like there was a guy still on the stage who was performing his heart out and was actually owning it. And it's like
Yeah,
to the point where it's like, hey, he knows what he's doing. Me, I looked at it as like, yeah, that's that amateur. No, not a performer. Because I hadn't done it in so long. Honestly, I hadn't done it probably maybe like a year and a half. And
yeah,
and I just wasn't used to it. I had gained a little weight, and so it wasn't the same me that used to get out there and jump on stages like that. So it was embarrassing, but it was also rewarding because I learned that I could be better. Because I know it's one of those things where if you know you can do something, then you know you can do it again.
yeah. No, exactly, exactly. It's like what we've been talking about is how like you had a negative experience, but you always get the positive from it, and you do get more confident. That's the thing. It's the same with
Yeah,
bullying. Like, even though bullying was a horrible experience for me, and people shouldn't have to go through it, but after a while, once you get past the nervousness and the scaredness to go to school, you just think, "Oh, I just can't be fucked anymore. Just go fuck yourself." You
yeah.
just get this attitude. It's like, yeah, I'm not going to be pushed over anymore. So in a way, like even though I was bullied a lot, like it helps. It helped me grow as a person. But no bullying.
Well, it's funny because I'm thinking about my story, and there
Yeah,
was there was because I was bullied. I was bullied. I I don't want to say that I was bullied because for me, that's like I pulled out of that. But I mean,
yeah,
when you really look at it simply, yeah, there were people that bullied me. I was bullied because I was smart. I was bullied. It's a simple retarded bullying of, oh, he wears glasses, so bully him because of that.
yeah.
I remember in what grade was that? It was seventh grade, and I got into it with somebody by the name of Darius. I got into a fight with somebody with the same name as me, and it was because of, I think, just because we had the same name. We shared the same name.
Really?
It was this stupid thing. And there was another person that had a name that had the same name as me, and he didn't like me either. So it was this weird, oh, you got the same name as me, so I
Mhm.
don't like you. That's some weird shit. And that's a thing. It happened to me. I was just like, what the fuck? But anyway, one of the things that I did mentally, which kind of put me on that path that fueled this arrogance, was, whatever someone says about you, it's up to you how you want to take it. It's up to you to design how you want to be. And I just told myself, I said, hey, the reason everyone's picking on me, because I think it was one of those things that I think I saw in like TV shows. Sometimes they pick on like the prince because he's the prince. And I
Yeah.
just reshaped my mind to think, hey, they're picking on me because I'm just that awesome person. They're trying to
Yeah.
do this to me. It's like in this game, they want you to feel like shit because you're so great. So you won't. So I guess to humble you. And for me, I took that and ran with it and said, "Oh, I'm just amazing. That's the reason why everyone wants to do this." And then it just begot this new character and my persona and I guess my ego. I heightened it, and I didn't care what anybody thought. All that turned into I didn't care what anyone had to say. I whatever I wanted to do, I went out and did it. So yeah, I created the image and the energy in my head that I wanted.
I think that's so cool. Like the way that you've actually just created that imagery of yourself and you just took it like, yeah, you had that like fuck it attitude. And I think that's a really good attitude to have. I wish I had that attitude when I was younger, but I'm very glad that I got it when I was older. Because it probably saved me getting in a lot more trouble.
Yeah, you got to know when to choose your battles. You got to know. you gotta know yourself a little bit more too. Because I'm glad that happened then, so I can
Yeah.
understand it, and now understand the importance of also being able to be balanced.
Yeah.
It's just yeah, that's a thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No, okay. Yeah. Right. So next question. Oh, this one's a little bit deep, I'd say. Do you ever feel some people will be better off without you in their life?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that. I know this,
Yeah.
and this is from experience because I know, and this it all comes with me learning more about myself.
Yeah.
Um, just that whole energy kind of also became toxic. It's like things are good until like it's like that thing where too much of a good thing is a bad thing,
Yes. Yes.
and if you're overly confident, you're overly arrogant, you're all of those things, you're overly anything, it kind of sometimes makes its way into being toxic. If you get it, there's like a yeah, it's like the masculinity thing. Masculinity is okay until someone has a perception of you're being too masculine, or it's like toxic masculinity. There's a scene, me and Dr. Green were at the house,
Yeah.
and he was cooking something, and I believe the pan was hot, and he went over there and he was like, I'm gonna touch this pan while it's hot because I'm a man, or some shit. It was some stupid shit. It was all fun and games, but outside looking in, somebody could say that's a form of toxic masculinity. And if you let him tell the story, he'll probably tell it. I wasn't doing that. But point being, that's but what I'm getting at is there was a point in my life where I knew that I was basically toxic. I that cold wanting to be or control things or all of that. Once you realize you are those things, and once you realize that these people could probably be better without you in their life, you you either do one of two things. You actually maybe three. One, you learn this about yourself because people will start just disappearing. They'll be like, okay, well, you know what? I'm not having shit to do with you. You'll learn and you'll start questioning why is this happening? Why is this happening? Um, Two, you guys both agree on it and you guys decide to go your both ways because you understand that you're better without interacting with these people because you gotta grow and I guess make yourself better or something. I don't know. It's just a weird thing. You basically both come together and understand that, hey, you could do better not together or something or interacting. The other
Yeah.
one is you understand this. You finally understand it. So you do what you need to do to disappear and better yourself. And hopefully once you re-meet people, you can have a richer experience with them.
Yeah. Like that's a. I didn't expect that. That's a very very. I wasn't gonna say unusual. That's a really like. It sounds weird. I'm saying it's a very normal way to think. But like I sort of understand because obviously if a person's bad for you, sometimes you just even if they're a close friend, you need to let them go because obviously it's just the toxicness. It grows and grows and grows, and obviously, like you said with the masculinity, if you keep thinking your masculinity, then too much of good is bad, and it messes it up, and people get annoyed and pissed off at you and crazy, bloody crazy. Right. That's
It
a very
can be.
smart way of thinking of it, though. I like the way you think. I really do. Right.
I've
I'll
been
have
learning that that's the perception is the most important tool of the human consciousness, honestly. That's what it feels like. Just the thought processes, the way we see things, the way we perceive things can make or break us so much. Like it's beautiful. It's that whole reshaping your mind thing, man.
yeah.
That's what really does it. That's what it at least from my experience and just overthinking things and analyzing things,
Yeah.
that that tool just it just feels like that's like one of the biggest things for us.
Are you quite an overthinker then as well?
I can be.
Yeah.
Then there's that time. Those are because like I'm noticing I'm this and that at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Like some things you think about a little bit, and other things it's just constantly on your head non-stop.
Or my favorite is you're thinking about it so much where you just say, you snap or you bite yourself and you just jump and you say, nope, I'm just going to do it and let something happen from what me just doing.
I like that's a brave move. That is. That's a brave move.
It can also be stupid. You know that line, is he courageous or an idiot or a kidiot? Stupid.
You know what? Brave and stupid, sometimes it can be the same, I think.
Hope your luck runs the correct way, man.
Alright, mate. I hope so as well. I just need to get to them bears.
Ugh.
Is there a quote that you live by?
Let me see. Oh, sorry for just randomly whistling in the middle of
You don't have to say. That's what
let
Adobe
me see.
Premiere Pro is for. Because you do.
Actually, no, it was funny because I was talking about that. You would make a musical phrase someone's name. There's the play less miserable.
Les,
What is
Les
that? Say it for me.
Les Miserables.
There we go. And the
Yeah.
song for Epiphany, it's like dum ba dum bum 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 ba da dum, something like that. It's like
Honestly,
you would
that
name
sounds.
someone that, and every time you would acknowledge them, you would have to do
Oh my god. Honestly, I thought you was going to sing the Harry Potter theme song, because if you sing that again, that sounds very much like the Harry Potter. Dun, dun,
You know,
dun,
I run it in my head, and you're right, you're right. Which
dun.
I know we're just like rambling around what the question was, but John Williams is, I don't know what it is. The guy that basically makes Hogwarts, the Harry Potter themes,
Yeah.
the freaking Lost Arts. Like there's something so addicting in those melodies, man. Like I really enjoy how he does that. Like the Indiana Jones theme will always get me just like, oh, it's time. Dun, 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 dun.
I still need to watch them as well. I've only seen the Crystal Skull.
I can't remember which ones I've watched. I know for a fact I saw, yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark. I saw that one. That one was pretty dope. I I think they're pretty cool. For what they are, it's a nice experience, man. It's one of those things. It's like, oh, you never had pizza before? Here, try it. You know, it's just one of those things.
Well, that depends. What's your go-to pizza?
And that's a whole conversation. I got my buddy Liquid taught me this concept about how pizza is beautiful. It's a beautiful art because it takes in the the air of the environment. Because when you melt the yeast, you got to use the water from that place. If you're not getting your actual the dough made there naturally, but if you are, you know, you got to use the water from that place. The yeast is rising from the air of that place. So if you're eating pizza, you're eating that environment, and it's just so cool. It's so cool to think of that like that.
Nah, I never thought of pizza like that. I just saw pizza and like, huh. I wonder what stuffed crust to do.
Oh, but I'm trying to think of a quote,
Yeah,
and probably I know for me, I know for a fact there are multiple quotes that I'll probably live by, not
yeah,
just one. But if I'm thinking about the most recent one that actually did affect me to a point where I was like, okay, this is a quote that I would like to have in my life. For me,
yeah,
I've always been a person who was just hardcore on trying to figure out the flow of things, meaning how to make something both fun and let it be, I guess, where you can capture the work part of it so you can
yeah,
get the job done as well, but also have fun doing it so it doesn't appear to be work. Where I never understood the discipline because I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but there's things like I've been talented about things. I have
mm,
talents, and I never really put in the complete work behind it because I've always said,
yeah,
I want to go with the feeling of it. I want to find the fun in it. And I knew other artists that might not have had the level of talent, but they had the work ethic and the discipline, and that
yeah,
pushed them so much further. So this brings me to my quote. The quote is discipline equals freedom. And I got that from Jocko Willings. And he's a pretty dope guy because he's just Navy SEALs and he's always like, you got to do it, man. You just
yeah,
got to get out there and get that shit done. And that's
yeah,
paraphrasing him entirely. But the point is I understand it now. If you make it natural to just get up and get shit done, then that means you won't have a problem of ever getting shit done. And I'm liking that concept, and I'm trying to figure out how to apply it to every single aspect of my life. So I can then get to those three desks that I want to get to, where I
Yeah.
can work on music and art. And I know it's a lot to chew, but if I'm disciplined, that means it'll get done. That's how I see it. That is the newest quote that I've added to the quotes to live by.
I think that's good because obviously you can obviously tell just talking to you how passionate you are, and that get shit done attitude. It might be weird to say, but not a lot of people have it. Like some people just let the dreams die, and I think it's a good idea just to fucking keep working at it and just keep pushing and pushing and pushing yourself. So I really like
Yeah.
that attitude. So there's one interesting thing that you said though about the word talent. See, the thing is, I've never actually liked the word talent. I've always preferred the word skill because
Mm.
like talent to me is something that you're born with. Like obviously you with piano, you wasn't born to play a piano. You know what I mean? You adapted the skill, you learned, you spent hours into it. So I don't think you have talents. I think you have skills, like skills that you've actually put a lot of time and effort into.
So I definitely can see that idea. I can definitely see that because how do you? Because what I'm running through now is how do you teach imagination? Or I mean, actually, how do you do that?
So
Yeah, how would?
imagination to me is stuff that you visually see all the time, or you just think. I don't think that's being talented. I think it's being skillful of what you're seeing. Like if I saw a wall now and I think, oh my god, okay, a lion's going to come through this wall and halfway through it's going to freeze into stone and then shatter into glass. Like some people think that's fucking crazy, but like I think it's a skill that you pick up of okay, this is going to go into this. This is where my mind works. This is another way
Mm.
it works, and I don't know if you're ever born with it. Like this also could be me being a bit naive. But I always think it's just skill based. It's always skill based.
And I'm trying to like I'm now I'm rummaging through my memories and I'm thinking about some of the first things that I've done to see if it was a skill or did you just naturally wake up and you was able to do this? Because what is I'm thinking about how I learned drawing because when it came to all of these things,
Yeah,
you're right. You're remembering because your talent or skill is built off of the knowledge you know already. You're building these
exactly.
things, these blocks off of your experiences already. And I guess you're right. It's like a skill and experiences and how you use those skills to combine those to make whatever you're doing. Because I think about drawing. When I first started drawing and I learned how to draw other things, I started with tracing. When I think about it, like yes, there's the things you just doodle and whatnot, but when I wanted to get better and understand more, I took a Hot Wheels book. There was this book of Hot Wheels, and I
Yeah,
would trace these cars, and that turned into me drawing my own cars. Cause like I built that concept and understood that concept, so I made my own stuff. And I
exactly.
did the same thing with SpongeBob. You know, it's just I was like, oh, drew it, and now you have this ability to draw those things because you saw it, you adapted it, you basically added it to your skill set and replicated it. And now you can make things from it because you understand this concept.
Exactly, and that's why I think it's skill based. I think everyone just starts off of level zero, and then people it's like scoring. People just put it into what they want to put in. Sometimes you make a few mistakes along the way, but if you're passionate and you got the drive, you'll always get there.
Yeah, but yeah, passion is definitely a big player in that because you gotta
Yes.
want to do that. What's that? If you
Mm.
everybody can technically sing, it's because like there are things that come naturally. Maybe that's where I feel the rattle in the conversation for or the ideal on it because I know there are things that just comes naturally or more natural for others than this other person, and I don't know
Yeah.
what that would be. If that's not necessarily a skill, or how do you?
Mm.
I guess it's kind of like when you're like in math and because I'm trying to use 2 + 2 = 4, but yeah, I guess on a base level, it's if 2 + 2 equals 4, but the person next to you gets that concept opposed to the other person before that other person does that needs to sit there and really understand what one is and have four little I don't know figurines there so they can understand that if you add this to this it equals 4. I don't know, maybe it's just the way that you perceive that information too, and that's how you can. But at the same time, it's still that experience. You're still learning that skill through that experience. Just how
Yeah.
you receive that experience is what's determining if it came naturally to you or not.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's just a word that I've always found interesting. Like people always say talent and skill, but a lot of people they always mean it as the same thing. When I think it's like someone on my podcast earlier says being alone and being lonely is two completely different things. They're very different. It's just they're in the same vocabulary.
What about gift? Like what is that one? What the hell is a gift? Because I
What is
always hear people
natural
say,
gift?
yeah,
I
yeah,
feel-
what's an actual gift? Because I know people will sit there and say, well, you got a talent, but
Exactly, yeah, the talent. But that's what I mean. It depends what it is. Like, imagine you've been drawing, and like you said, you've been drawing. You could be, you sketched out their Hot Wheels. You started trace, and then you drew your own. And people says that's a talent. It's like, no, 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 that's not a talent or a gift. That is just purely skill based. You've had the time and effort, and you've been asked to actually put the time and effort into getting better.
you're right. I get it. I get it now. It's you put that time in and people see all that time that you put into it and they say that it's a talent because
Exactly.
you've put that time into it. And from them it's just like a short based version of, oh, okay, that's a talent. I get you. I get it. I
Exactly.
get
It's
it.
like they don't see all the hard work, they don't see the behind the scenes of all the effort that you put in. Like with your musical instrument, like when you play a piano, like I can't play that. I've never been able to play that. That's just purely like skill based. But people are just saying, "Oh wow, that's a nice talent," but they haven't saw the amount of errors, the amount of keys that you messed up, the amount of times you probably got angry. And that's why I always think talent and skill are like just two completely different things. But I still don't know what talent is. I'd love to find out. I used to say it all the word. I used to say talent all the time. I'm like, huh, that's not correct.
The only way I can think of it to for it to be a talent, the only thing in that fight that I could say would make something a talent is your ability to learn something, I guess, faster or pick up those skills faster than
Yeah,
another. That's the only way
yeah,
I could think of it. For it even to be considered a talent. Say for instance you get the piano at an early age and
yeah.
now you can play like freaking Alicia Keys that next year.
Yeah.
I mean honestly I gotta say that's fucking talent. If you can pick that up and learn that in a year and be able to play on her level, that has to be talent because that's not something that just happens normally. When yes, because anybody can yes learn those skills, but can they obtain those skills in a short amount of time? I think that's where talent would be applied. That's where it would be an acceptable definition
Okay,
or
okay.
gift. I don't understand
Gift.
gift. I
I
don't
mean,
get that one when people say, "Oh, you got a gift." Like I don't understand that one. That one I feel like gift and talent are definitely the same thing because
yes,
I don't
yes.
freaking get it.
Yeah, you know what? Okay, we agree on that. They're definitely gift and talent are the same thing.
Oh
I'll
wait,
ask
we
you.
agree on it until we find that person that breaks it down to us so we can understand it better. Because I'm just
Yes.
sitting there going, gift sounds like the same damn thing if you
Yeah.
ask me.
Okay, we have to search for Reddit or Twitter or Facebook. Can anybody please join this podcast to talk about this one single thing?
No,
We might.
we'll have to waste time, but we can go to Ask Reddit. That actually, you should go ahead and do that. That's a good way to build some karma. Or what I've also learned is because, dude, if you've ever been to the Ask Reddit, there's a lot of questions that get asked a bunch of times,
Yeah.
and what as I think this is what I consider maturity, is when you instead of actually just shooting first, you scope and you type in your question to see if anyone else has asked that question. So you don't have to waste the time and type it in. But if you just want to just freaking karma farm or pharma, that's what you'll
Yeah.
do.
Damn. Okay. Okay. Why is karma so important on Reddit? On Reddit, I'm curious.
Because okay, so there's levels to this.
Yeah.
But uh, to the regular human, or just it's a human thing. People like watching those numbers grow, and
Yeah.
sometimes I know for me, I have this weird thing where, since I noticed that everyone there is so crazy about upvotes, I also wanted to do that thing. I want to see if I could get negative votes. It was weird. I wanted to
Okay.
get negative downvotes so I could just build a negative karma just so I could see what happens. But the way that Reddit works, it's not designed for that. If you have negative karma, they're not letting you post anywhere. If you have negative anything, you're not in the conversation.
Oh,
It's built
really?
it kind of it gets built that way because there are Reddits that show you the negative, but the thing is, once you get in the negative, the system kind of reads it as like, no, they don't want to hear this. This is a bad comment. I don't know if you ever notice, you see a negative comment, instead of it becoming where you can see it first off, you'll just see the negative number and you have to hold on it to click and open it up. Well, in some form of fashion, you get silenced if you have a different opinion that's like out the mask. Because Reddit should be a wild, wild west where you can just say what the hell you want. But
Yeah,
if a
like
certain,
yeah,
yeah, if a certain conversation you're in, if you get in a conversation and it's downvoted and the mass of the people there have one way of thinking opposed to the way you are, you're gonna get shut out in silence. Like you might still be there, but the system makes it where you become empty. And one of the prime examples for this for me was another reminder that the internet can be dark. But there was a post. It was a post about racism, and it also reminded you like, dang, racism is still a thing because when you're on
yeah,
the internet, you can hide behind a picture and actually say how you really feel. But there was a post, and I forgot exactly what it was, but it was something on the lines of how it was. It was like it was something on the lines like it was said white people are the reason black people are able to do anything. I forgot what it was, but it was like
yeah,
it was something along the lines of like black people need to support white people more because if it weren't for us, you wouldn't exist, or something along those lines. And then it just fueled all these other like miniature racism conversations that divided us instead of
yeah,
pulling us together. And
yeah,
you got to see it first action of who believed in this, because you get to watch these upvotes just continue to rise. And I saw someone basically voice anything that was black or like hey, this isn't right. You gotta do something about being together. The vagueness of it is there was someone that was basically speaking about being together instead of just focusing in on just one race. And that comment about being together got downvoted and overran by everybody else that was there for, hey, let's show that white is right. And seeing that, it lets you know that Reddit works depending on the areas you are in. If you're in a conversation, if you don't know the audience of that area or the environment of that area, you will be shut out. And that's what Reddit's kind of designed for. And in turn, that's why we kind of decided to build our own communities and start that. So we
yeah,
could, you don't, you want a place that's not one like Facebook, just built on algorithms. Two, you want to be able to have a conversation about something without being disliked or downvoted instead of being able to have a conversation about it. That's just the thing, man. It's weird like that. Like I know there's other places like Mastodon, and well Tumblr but
yeah,
just it's this weird. The internet's a weird place. It was supposed to be the wild, wild west, but then you get people in charge of it, and then it turns into it's only the wild, wild west that they let be the wild, wild west. So they control what they want it to be. It's weird, and it's weird. You
yeah.
got to say that about Reddit when there's so much wild shit on Reddit.
It is. It's crazy. Like the only. Thank you for explaining what Calm was because in my head, Calm like Calm on sorry, Calm on Reddit was like a like on Facebook. It just meant nothing. I thought. I never knew it was like different sections and levels.
Furthermore, with that,
Yeah.
having a certain number of karma allows you to do more. The page that you have there, the what's that, the D Saint A page? I just started that one, so
Yeah.
I won't have the abilities. There's other abilities you can get once you do karma, like moderating the page or actually having conversations on other pages. Some pages won't let you talk on it unless you have a number of karma, and they have it in the rules. They cannot disclose that information. Um, And it's also tied with how long you've been on there. There are some places that won't let you have a conversation unless you've been on Reddit for maybe more than 3 months. And
That's
there's also
crazy.
one, it is, but when you moderate something, you control the rules. So it's like
Yeah.
Reddit gives you the ability to create your own place that you want. So, and that's why we, like I said, that's why we created the subreddit too for Isuzu
Yeah.
Rodeo. So it's yeah, there you go. If you see how the world is working, then your next step is to build your own world.
Yeah, I think that's good. Build your own world and just fly away to it somewhere on the internet. The only place that I knew was like sort of like the wild wild west on the internet was probably 4chan.
Ah, 4chan. I haven't had much of experience on there. I always
Yeah.
see many posts, but wait, how is 4chan?
So it like for like 3 or 4 days when my really good friend showed it makes I just couldn't get off the site because there's that much like weird and crazy shit on there. That's just and everyone's anonymous on there as well. Like there's no usernames. It's just anonymous, anonymous, anonymous. It's it was like weirdly addicted. Like to look at all these different crazy posts. I just stopped. I was like, if I keep looking at this, I'm gonna be here forever. I just haven't gone back on it since.
I might have to put that on. Actually, just like, do I need to put that on my list? Do I need one more place to make me go, God dang it, there's so much crap here. That's the other thing.
That's the thing. There's anything. There's literally anything on there. It's a crazy site. It's absolutely insane. All right, I'll ask you 2 more questions if you want, and then I'll let you go.
All right. Yeah, because
Um,
I do have to get ready to wrap it up. I just realized it's like 7 o'clock this time.
yeah, that's cool. I just can cut it down to one then. Oh, that's what we could do as well, if that's okay. We could do like a welcome to part one and a part two, and then we can just cut them
Okay.
in as well. So I'll start with the last question first if you want. So yeah, sorry for keeping you so long.
Oh man, you good? I'm having fun.
I think I already know this answer, but what do you have an end goal in life?
I do. I do.
Yeah.
My first end goal would be to figure out how to stay alive until I am like 1,000, so I could, just
Okay.
hang out for a little bit. Because
Okay. I didn't know that.
honestly, if I really want to just say, for instance, I want to have a really simple life. My simplest version of my life would be to just travel everywhere, experience everything, and after I'm done experiencing everything, I die. That's it. That's the simple version. That's the simple version. But that's not gonna happen unless you're a fucking god or something. So the end goal that I have in mind, I would like to build a community, build a school. I would like to figure out a way to where, oh crap, this is not the actual end goal. This is like the fantasy end goal now that I think about it. So there's the
Carry on.
the god end goal and the fantasy realistic end goal and then the realistic end goal. Um, but I would like to build something that would help keep the people going. And what I mean by that is like some form of society. I would like to go back to, I don't know, maybe Oak Cliff and figure out how to make it better. And I want to be able to give back from all my works and stuff. My end goal turns back into those 3 desks though. Like my
Yeah.
realistic end goal turns into those 3 desks where I can create what I want to create. I want to be able to make music in the middle. I want to be able to turn left and draft those stories and draw and write those stories. And then I want to be able to turn right and put all that together and tell a story that actually helps and compels and makes people want to be inspired. And that's what I want, man. That's what I want.
I thought that was your end goal, and that's a perfect end goal, and I'm really happy you get it. I love how you got the actual desks organized there, so you know which is where. It's perfect, absolutely perfect. Right. So if you want then, what's the best way to do this? Do you reckon about the part one and part two? Do you reckon it's best to just say, "Hey, catch more in the next episode where we're gonna do a part two," or
So the way that I like, because for me, what I plan to do when you send it over, I'm
yeah,
going to just send like the way that I do my show is it's in the raw and I just pow all of it. There we go, and I post it. So I'll
yeah,
send you the email you can send it to,
yeah,
and you can just send me the file and I'll do my own edits for that too. because I like what I'll probably do differently is I'll start off with an intro explaining what the episode is. It's like
Yep.
crossover episode. And what I would need from you is like all your links that you want me to tag you in, and that's
Yeah.
Facebook, Twitter, and IG, because I have all of those, and I'm gonna send
Yeah,
those to you
same.
as well.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
that's pretty much how I was gonna do it. As far as on your end, if you want to break it down in 2 parts, man, do that.
Yeah.
If you want to keep it one, I guess that would be more on your end for how you do your format. I know my format is long form, and that's the way I plan to post it.
Okay then. So I'll break it down in 2 parts, and so we could just do a quick. I'll do the main outro for the end of part 2, and then we can just do a quick like outro for like part 1, and then an intro for part 2 if you want.
All right, sounds good.
Right,
Let me know
so
what I need to do for that.
you just I don't know. You say catch more in part 2, right? And
Hey, catch more in part 2. I even did my own echo.
Perfect. That literally that's all I needed. That was perfect. I could edit the rest myself. Now we can just do a quick one. So, hey, welcome to part 2, where I'm joined again by Darius. I think we're gonna carry on this nice little conversation where we can have a few ups and downs, and I hope you enjoy. That's perfect. Right, now just to do the outro.
And this is the part where I say the outro, correct?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want, and I'll just add it in, or I'll just take the stuff from earlier, add it in, whatever you want. So thank you again to the audience for listening to the Raw Life podcast. It's been great having Darius. We've had a lot of ups, we've had downs, and we've had a lot of funny stories. A few embarrassing, and a lot of funny stories.
I've had a blast, man. This has been great. My name is Darius, or DSane8. I enjoyed this entire conversation. This has been fun. I can't wait to do another one. I really got to have you on the show so I can ask you some questions as well. And dude, this has been fun, man. I enjoy this. I think anybody that has the time to take time to talk to you is great. This is great. I enjoy this podcast, man.
I'm really glad that you liked it. It was such a laugh though as well, just chatting. It's just like a normal conversation. It was brilliant. So thank you very much, Darius. Right, and we'll see you all on the next show. Thank you. Goodbye. That's
all right,
perfect.
later.
That's perfect. Thank you so much, Darius. Man, this has been like the best one ever.
I mean, I'm glad to be a part. I am so glad to be a part of it.
It was just wicked. But yeah, sorry, mate. It's like nearly 1 o'clock in the morning here.
Dude, get some sleep. And if you need to, definitely adjust your notifications in the Isuzu Rodeo Discord, because I don't know if you've noticed, but the people there, they'll talking day and day night.
Oh damn. Okay, yeah, I'll sort them definitely. All right, wicked. I'll send you the files over. Where do you want it, over Discord, or do you prefer email?
So this is going to be a large file.
Yeah.
And unless there's a way there is a way you can send the link.
Google Drive. You
should be able to. Yeah, I think you can send the link from Craig. What I'll do is I'll just, because I don't know if it keeps it safe. You know what I mean? Like, since that's your own personal thing. What I'll do is I'll send you the email that you can send it to,